guess we listened to a little bit of Pink Floyd on this trip too.
Yeah. We've covered all the albums.
Lincoln rocking out. So Lincoln's a guy that you'll start seeing a lot of because we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff in the machine shop. I have 2 projects. I have 3 projects going on right now. So one project hasn't even been seen. It'll be like the next video that I post after this one. But I have a really cool project that I'm making a 4-wheel drive vehicle.
But you only have 3 projects?
Well, that's 3 car projects that right now.
I don't even want to think about how many I have. But
Yeah,
we'll cover some of those too.
We'll cover some of those too.
Yep. The Z car, the El Camino, now the Wagoneer.
Yeah.
Got to figure something out for Ty.
And Lincoln's already got a really cool Toyota first gen Land Cruiser that has a 300D motor in.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. 4Runner. Yep.
What did I say? Land
You
Cruiser?
said Land Cruiser.
Okay, yeah, 4Runner. Yeah, and so that thing's really cool. We got some really cool projects. My Jeep, which has been on a couple of videos, the engine's still out of that, but that's in the machine shop and we're getting ready to work on that. We're going to get that back together soon, so that's all going to get videoed. Got a really cool project, and I'm not even going to say what it is yet. I'm just going to post it in the next video. But that's the one that I'm currently working on, and it's a car that hadn't run for 17 years, and I bought it in Utah and picked it up when I went on a ski trip to Colorado and brought it home, and it now is running and driving. It's a daily driver at the moment. And,
right. It's a car. That's all you get to know.
And
at this point.
It's already really, really cool, but it's going to be even cooler. So, so you'll see. So Lincoln owns High Valley Machine and Diesel, which is right by my house, and I've made lots of reference to that in the other videos that I've got the machine shop just kind of on the other side of my property.
300 yards away?
Yeah, like 300 yards off of my property is his property. And so we have lots of cool projects over there, and I'll record, like, as we're doing the engine for my Jeep, I'll make a video over at the shop and kind of do a tour of the machine shop and everything. And it's been a definite work in progress, and it's come a long way in the period of time that I've been affiliated with it, and since the time that I met Lincoln. And so the shop has grown into something really super cool, and there's lots of exciting things going on there.
It's only taken 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Nothing
4
but
years.
work.
4 years later, so there was no shop there 4 years ago, but just the other day, the final insulation got put in the shop.
Yeah.
Within the last few weeks, the mezzanine got built across the back of the shop.
I'm only 30 sheets away, 30 more sheets of plywood away from being fully insulated, sheeted, done.
The first winter that I worked with Lincoln in that shop, the only thing, there was one lift in there, there's 3 now. There was a wood stove in there. There's oil.
Yeah, to heat.
There's an oil stove in there now.
4,000 square feet.
And it was a tiny little wood stove, like right next to where the lift was.
It was a joke.
And there was not a lick of insulation anywhere in that building.
Nope.
And it's all completely different now. So the machine shop is finally, that's been the big thing, the mezzanine getting built. There's an office that was built upstairs. I was out in the shop right before we left to come on this trip, and Lincoln's father-in-law, Dean, who's a great guy, was in there finishing up all of the texture and tape, and so it's going to be, it's already a really cool shop, but it's really kind of getting there now.
Yep.
And
we're going to paint it when we get back.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And so we'll do a little tour of the machine shop, and I plan on doing the videoing the whole process of like machining the Jeep engine and everything, because I'm brand new to all that kind of stuff, and Lincoln's teaching me. So it's really going to be cool to be able to say, well, yeah, I rebuilt that engine, but I did all the machine work too. So
you got to push the buttons.
Yeah, I get to push the buttons and watch the machines do their thing. But the cool thing is like learning how to set it all up and everything, and There's been actually some new equipment that you've gotten since then. So the,
Yep.
the boring bar that used to be there was problematic and had broken a couple of times and was kind of slow, and he ended up getting a new boring bar and making money on the deal actually.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
So we always like it when that happens.
That's helpful to the project.
That's exactly helpful to the project. So lots of cool stuff going on over there, and between the two of us, we actually have some really cool vehicles, and working on more of them all the time. He just picked up one of our neighbors and buddies who lives up near us. What year is that Wagoneer?
75.
Yeah, so he had a 75 Wagoneer that's been sitting there. Lincoln kind of acquired that. That one's going to be the project car for his oldest boy, Rhett.
Yep.
And so have you decided you're going to LS swap that one?
I have everything to do it. I feel like
The thing was purchased because we're kind of diesel nuts, and especially like the Mercedes diesel, and it's so cool in the Toyota.
yeah,
And it would have been really cool in that, and that was kind of the original plan. But
it's just not cost effective.
yeah, it's way easier to just LS swap it, especially if you've got an LS that's sitting right there and everything that you need. So,
Yep.
but it's cool, and it was kind of funny because I knew he was getting ready to go pick it up at some point in the near future, and I drove by our buddy's house yesterday, and that was the first thing I noticed. Hey, the Wagoneer's not there. And then when I showed up at the shop today, it was sitting there.
He was gonna go with me to go get it, Patrick.
Yeah, I was gonna go.
I wasn't even anticipating it, and it just showed up. My buddy
Oh, did Brian bring
yeah,
it?
Brian brought it over, and I was like, heck yeah.
He
man.
wanted to get it out of his
Drunk.
yard.
Yeah, I'm sure his wife
he
was
has
on him.
he has a few car problems. Lincoln and I have car problems, but our buddy Brian, he's beyond help.
He really is. He has like, how many square bodies does he have?
He's got
I think he has 4 or
he's
5.
got cars sitting all over his place. He's a great dude.
He is a good dude.
Yep. And so, of course, we got all kinds of buddies like that. And now Lincoln has 2 guys that you'll be seeing in the videos too. So he's got 2 employees that are working there as auto techs, Tucker and Jeremy. And those guys are great. It's great to have that energy around the shop and everything. I'm going on 63. Lincoln is 37.
Yeah.
Tucker is 20, and Jeremy's 19. And
Yep.
so
They're like my kids.
yeah, and they're great guys. So right as we were leaving, they showed up in what's left of Tucker's Jeep.
Oh my gosh.
He's got some Jeep that he traded a load of firewood for.
And it was cherry when
And
we
it was-
started
it
out.
was nice.
We'll get some video.
You
of
should
that.
see it now. Every time you see it, there's less of that Jeep left. And he was telling us a story 2 days ago. He's like, "Oh yeah, I had that thing like 4 feet off the ground. It actually landed pretty good."
And it has no grill.
Yeah, it has.
Lights fell
Oh,
out. He
it's
came over.
beat. He's never even licensed it for the road. He's just taking it out in the woods
Just
and
rallied.
beat the absolute hell out of it.
Just rallied it to death.
So, and then Jeremy's got what year is his Jeep pickup?
I want to say it's a 72
2-ish, yeah.
Or is it a 68?
I think it's in the 70s.
I think it's a 72.
Early 70s, yeah.
71 maybe.
And it's the
Gladiator.
Gladiator, yeah.
J4000.
Yeah, and it's really cool.
It is.
And so
Built a
he built a
350.
350 Buick for
Hot
that.
rodded that.
Hot rodded it all up, and that's a really sweet truck.
It is.
He just managed to acquire. We were at the shop. I showed up at the shop the other day, and this kid is really into Audis. His dad's an Audi guy. His brothers are Audi guys, and so he's got a couple of them. He just autocrossed his with his A6. That S6.
He has
That's right. He
A6.
has an S6 and an A6.
Yeah.
He
95
autocrossed.
S6.
He autocrossed the S6 the other day on Sunday, and
The only thing beating him was Porsches, he said, right?
yeah, well, he said he was beating the Subarus. Yeah, and he said, but
They're
the
blown
thing
up
that
all the
the
time.
Miatas apparently rule the track. So
It's hard to compete with a 1,500-pound car.
he was telling me about another buddy of ours that showed up there and had. He said Jack showed up.
With this hard body.
Yeah, with a Nissan
720
hard body
hard
pickup
body.
that apparently is set up pretty trick and actually runs pretty good. And Jeremy said he was actually finally able to outpace him after a little while.
Yeah, getting used to the track.
But And so my little project that you'll see next, Lincoln came up with the idea that we're gonna autocross this car because it has to be done.
It has
and it has to be done
before the project evolves.
and it will
has to be
definitely
done.
get videoed. So in the next few weeks, we're gonna be autocrossing a car. And it's gonna be. We're definitely going to be in a class of our own, I think.
We're gonna crush me on us. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's what I
There's
said.
no replacements or
When I told
displacement,
him-
buddy.
When he said that the Miatas rule, I said, yeah, until Lincoln and I show up.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So-
We're gonna drive it there and drive it home, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're
And
gonna.
if we happen to break down,
Yeah.
we're not far.
Well,
just call
we're
my
not
wife.
far from home. We literally have to drive this thing like 50 miles one way to get to the autocross event, and then 50 miles home. And
Tires are cheap.
yeah, it's fun. Yeah, we're definitely gonna do this. Well, those tires aren't gonna stay on that thing anyway.
Oh, no.
So
We gotta
I just put
shred
brand new
them.
tires on it,
Shred them.
and it's only gonna live in its current configuration for a very short period of time. I'm already working on things to like upgrade it to the way that it should have been from the factory, and
I think we should weld the rear diff.
yeah. Well, I was gonna put a
Permanent
log
pause
or-
traction.
Yeah, but then it makes it so squirrely on the road.
It's so fun. You know.
I know it's fun. Yeah. So
We're keeping that rear end now, right?
no, the Dana 30, the Dana 35 is going in.
Okay.
And what we could do is we could weld up the rear end that's in it right now. You're just talking about for autocross.
I'm talking about for autocross.
Oh yeah. Well,
but
we should weld that up and make it permanent posi for that. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Because that's going to be kind of the last thing sort of that it does before it gets taken apart.
Yeah.
So
And dirt roaded.
that dirt roaded.
It's fine.
That's right. It's already been dirt roaded. What is it?
Totally fine. Right.
Yeah. So we got those projects going on, and then the whole thing that kind of started me doing the YouTube channel was to keep my friends informed. That's not sheep, is it? That's cattle. There's supposed to be. There's bighorn sheep. Look at the little cattle.
Oh yeah, little calves.
The little cows. So we got all kinds of cool.
It's pretty crazy how the river just keeps going and
Oh,
keeps
yeah.
going. It's all fresh water that just dumps into the ocean. We haven't even passed any of the powerhouses yet either.
No, not at all.
That means we got a long
That's
ways to go.
because we got to go coming up on the
Hood
John
River.
Day Dam, which should be. Oh, and there's Mount Hood in the background.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can see that's Mount
The
Hood.
elevation, is it like 12,000 feet or something? Or
Of that, yeah, it's up in the 20s.
it's 12,500 or
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yep. It's one of the higher ones in the country.
It really
I mean,
is.
we're we'll get video tomorrow of Mount Shasta, and that one is like the second or third highest peak.
We're going past all the inactive volcanoes
And so
on our little trip.
still all kinds of gorgeous real estate here. So back to the YouTube channel thing. So I know when I started this, my very first video was kind of talking about what I wanted to do, and I really was just kind of doing the YouTube video so that my friends that don't necessarily live around me, or even some of those that do but they're not up at my shop very often or whatever, can keep an eye on the pickup project that I'm doing, that crew cab, where I'm combining the crew cab body onto the excursion frame. And that was kind of what I saw this video being, but obviously I haven't posted anything for a long time, and there's really not been a lot that's happened on that vehicle. I kind of made a promise to my wife. I currently, of the 6 vehicles my wife and I currently own, 4 of them are mine, and until just last week only 1 of them ran. now 2 of them run. The Jeep is going to make 3, and so yeah, and then the crew cab is the long-term project, and so I'm changing up the whole idea, and I'm going to try to get back into this whole video thing. For me, it's hard enough for me to, as we're driving down the road, he has to keep reminding me, hey, how come you're not videoing that?
Yeah, we should film that.
I'm not good at being a
Like this
cameraman.
powerhouse right here.
Yeah, I need a cameraman. We're definitely going to film this. The other side of this dam is really cool, especially if the water's ripping out of it. This is the John
locks.
Day.
This is the locks.
Yeah, this is the. Yep.
Right.
And so, what I'm going to do is, I think the YouTube channel is, once I post this video, it's going to get changed. I don't even think it has a name to my channel already anyway, so I think we're just going to do something like Patrick's Projects or something like that, because it can't just be about that pickup, because I haven't hardly been working on that at all. I have the materials to make the jig to stretch the cab, but I haven't done the cab stretch yet. Lincoln and I did, I haven't posted any of that video. We did go chop up a truck in our buddy's junkyard.
That's true.
We
That's
chopped
high quality content.
yeah, high quality content right there. We chopped up the back off a single cab so that I can stretch that crew cab, and I got that, and then I acquired a couple more doors, and I'm still getting parts, and I bought materials to make the jig and stuff like that. So that project's still happening. It's just that's obvious that that's
Slow
going to be at
going.
a slow pace. Yeah, that one's going to take a couple or a few
Lots
years
of
to
time and
build.
money.
Yeah, and then so the main thing was I made my wife a promise. I said, look, I'll get my crap running right now, and then I'll work on the truck. And so, of course, I bought another vehicle, which compounded my problems.
We don't talk about that.
now.
No.
And
You
that's the
didn't-
funniest
you didn't
part.
Spend any money?
You know, Tracy didn't even know anything about that car. I left for a ski trip in Colorado. She didn't even know I took a trailer with me. She had no idea I bought a car. And I come home, and that was exactly what she said. She looked out the window and she said, "Why did you buy that ugly car?" I said, "Honey, that car is cool." There we go. There's those locks back there. Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's what, 50 foot, 100 foot drop?
Yeah, somewhere
This
around.
area is.
That's the John Day.
River is just incredible.
We still got probably like 3 hours to go.
Probably like
Ish.
Probably like 120, 130 miles, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, if we were going 130 miles an hour, that would help.
We'd be there in an hour.
Yeah, we need it.
We could probably go 130 minutes.
It says 120.
Well,
I don't think my trailer tires would approve.
yeah, they're not Z-rated.
No.
Z-rated trailer tires.
They probably exist.
They probably do.
This is Rufus.
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 Named after a dude.
Rufus.
Yeah, so we're actually not that far from Biggs. That's where Highway 97 cuts off to go down through Bend, Oregon. And that was our initial plan, was we would have gone that way.
Yeah.
However, it worked out that I needed to get this car back to my daughter in Portland. And so we were going to be dragging an empty trailer. So we're just taking a little detour here. We get to go visit my daughter. We're going to spend the night there, visit my grandkids, crash out at their place.
Have a delicious dinner.
Have a delicious dinner, a delicious breakfast tomorrow with my daughter, and then we're going to hit the road, and we're going to buy this really cool coach.
Oh, I'm so excited.
It's going to be cool, and there will be more road trips filmed in that coach too.
Definitely.
Go some
To go
places.
get other random projects. And
So that's the
whatever
thing too. So I ended up, the vehicle that I acquired for the most recent project, I actually bought it from a car museum, and I didn't know that it was a museum. My car was actually in a museum once upon a time, but then it got kind of daily driven for a while, and it developed a whole bunch of problems, and it ended up getting parked 17 years ago and sat. So that's what I've been working on it for a month now. I bought it a month ago, and I have it running and driving.
It's gone really well.
It's gone well. It has gone well, all things considered, because it didn't run, and the first couple times we started it up, it did not sound good. It was making some what sounded like there were possibly death noises coming from that motor, and so it wasn't, a for sure thing. It's in our world, it's not all a lost cause, because the machine shop is right there, and so it's parts, right, and it's time. And the phase of the project that I'm getting ready to go in, had that engine been bad, what it would have looked like is the engine would have been pulled out of it by now, and would be in the machine shop, and we would now be working on phase 2 of the project to get that part of it done, so that we could then put the engine back in it and have it done. But the way it worked out is that the engine was actually really good. It's only got 50,000 miles on it, and it's strong, and we ended up putting an HEI distributor in it. The distributor was our bad deal. actually having problems with the ignition system.
module.
Yeah, the ignition module.
Chinese junk.
Yeah, and it was the ignition module. It would run good when the engine was cold, and you'd start it up and you'd start driving it, and after about 15 minutes, it would just start breaking up and running really bad. And so I changed the ignition module box, and then it wouldn't run, and I changed it to another one, and it wouldn't run, and it was weird. Yeah, so we put 4 different ignition boxes in that thing, and finally said,
And only one worked.
I think, yeah, one worked,
Kind of.
So it ended up being an HEI distributor for the win, and what a difference, man. I don't think that car probably ran that good when it was brand new.
Guarantee you not.
And it's such a cool car, and it's so fun to drive.
And you know, there are some people that might be able to deduce what kind of vehicle it is, even talking about the ignition module.
That's true.
That would lead some people to oh, I know it has ignition modules that go bad all the time.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's the same ignition module that was in that Ford Crew Cab. Same.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It looked. They looked
Similar,
almost
similar.
identical. Yeah. But it was same kind of setup. It was just an ignition box on the fender, which was kind of fairly typical of
that
era of cars. Yeah, because I can remember having like a Ford Escort that had that. It looked different than that box, but it was the same kind of technology, and it was just basically the solid state ignition.
Honestly, the Ford ones were pretty good.
The Ford ones were pretty good. Yeah.
The other guys were not so good.
Yeah. And I have one of the other guys' ones, and so think about that. But and hint, and but it's here's Biggs. That's that river that bridge that goes across to Yakima. So we're coming up on
Good looking bridge.
This is where that bridge is Highway 97.
Right, this is the way we would have gone.
That's the way we would have gone. So we would have made a turn
south.
Right. And we are going to come home that way tomorrow. So we will be filming up 97. And 97 is a cool road because, like the stuff behind us where we were going through all those little towns, like when we went through Pomeroy and stuff like that, that's what Highway 97 is very much like that.
Just through the woods.
It's like
instead of the farmland.
Yeah, it's a much prettier drive than where we were before. So we'll get lots of film on that. We're starting to get a better look at Mount Hood.
Coming out of this smoky fog, smog, whatever it is.
And we're not that far now. It'll be about another probably 20 or 30 minutes and we'll pass Multnomah Falls. So I'll try and get some footage of that.
Yep, it's worth
As we go by, we'll probably get better footage of it tomorrow if I'm it'll be on the passenger side tomorrow. So, but we'll get some footage of it. It'll be really hard to do from this side of the car.
$3.15 a gallon for diesel. I wish I would have brought a slip tank. I would have filled it up.
Gas prices are actually
You know, it's kind of crazy. All right, we better get out of this guy's way here. Buddy. I think we're going to listen to every Pink Floyd song.
I think so too.
From every album.
We've pretty much ticked off a big chunk of that already. All the good stuff. Somewhere down in here, in these hills like this, there's an area, and a buddy of mine that I have traveled through here with several times, he knows where to look. There's a herd of bighorn sheep down in this gorge here, in this next stretch, somewhere in about the next 30-ish miles. And when I'm with him, we see them almost every time because he knows where to look, and I don't know what the landmarks are. I look for them when I come through here, and every once in a while, there's been a couple times I've seen them on my own, but my buddy knows where to look for them.
Creatures of
But
habit.
he's not here. Yeah, they are definitely creatures of habit.
It's just a phone call away, man.
It's true.
Like, you know, where the river has all the water in it.
Yeah.
That's where the sheep are. You know, where the barges are.
Yeah. Exactly. How many cars do you own right now?
Oh, we don't even talk about that. Okay, the 83, the 84 Benz, the El Camino, the 4Runner, this, the Super Duty, Wagoneer, the shop truck.
Shop truck's cool. Now
or
an
a
RV.
diesel pusher. Am I missing something? I feel like I am.
Probably. Oh, you said 2 Mercedes.
I have both a Mercedes, yep. So like 8.
Yeah, somewhere around
But I think all mine run. The Toyota transfer cases are not very happy.
there. Are they not?
No,
They were noisy.
they're very noisy. I actually, there's rebuild kits. I have to buy 2 of them.
It has.
They're
two
like $300 a
transfer
piece. It'd be like $600-700 to fix it. And
cases. Is that
a
why
couple-
you haven't been driving it?
yeah, it needs to be pulled completely back apart and go through and do all the final detail kind of work. And you know, now that I know like my setup's right, you know, I'm gonna go through and reseal the engine and you know take care of all the major oil leaks and all that fun stuff, and you know, do it right, fix it right.
Yeah.
You know.
How long have you had that one?
So let me think here. My friend, he got that. It's a 1989. Dad got it in probably like 1991.
I didn't know that's where you got
92.
that.
Yeah, it sat on his lawn because the fuel pump went bad, and it sat on his lawn for like 10 years. And I probably got it in like, I want to say I got that in like 2008, maybe 2009, and I had a single cab Toyota at that time. That was, you know, straight axled and dual cases and, you know, the rock crawler deal. And so I gutted that in favor of 4 seats, 5 seats really. And I've been just tinkering away at it for, you know, that's what, 15 years?
Yeah.
You know? And yeah, I've had that a long time.
So the engine that got pulled out of it to put the diesel in, was that the engine that was in it when you got it from Thad?
No, it's had mini engines in it. So the engine that was in it when I got it from Thad had a rod knock. I drove that around for a while like that, got it running, and then decided to kill my other Toyota that had a rebuilt 22RE in it, or 22R in it originally. Converted that to fuel injection, made it an RE. Then I put that in the 4Runner, drove it around like that for about, I don't know, 5-7 years. And then I put a Tacoma motor in it. And at that time we lived in California, so it had to pass smog and all that. And that's why I didn't go for a diesel initially.
Right.
And then once we moved out of that, you know, you can't do that police state. Then I decided to go and put a proper engine in that's more fuel efficient and more power and
It's definitely cool.
reliable. You don't have no computer, nothing. You can literally run it off of. You can squeeze the oil from your skin and run it off of
it'll
that.
run. So the shakedown trip on that thing, when it got running and it had only been moved around the property a little bit.
Yeah, from your house to my house.
From my house over to his house and back and forth a couple times and
Yeah.
everything. And then the original trip, the first trip we took it, and we took it to Lewiston together.
Yeah, we didn't make it very far.
Well, no, we were driving down the road, and everything seemed to be going okay. And we'd made it we had about a 40-mile trip into Lewiston.
15.
We'd made it about 15 miles or so, just to where it would be
Maybe.
really inconvenient to break down.
Yep. No cell
And
phone signal.
all at the exact same time, both of us said, "Do you smell fuel?" And then it was a guardrail on the right side of the road for the next quarter of a mile, and we could not pull over. And so we were driving along, and the fuel smell started getting worse and worse and worse, and we were just starting to think wonder if we were going to catch on fire, perhaps.
Watching the fuel gauge move.
Yeah.
Kind of leak.
And it was a fuel return line that had come off, and just was dousing the engine in diesel fuel.
Yeah.
All right. Good morning, Lincoln.
Good morning.
Let's go get a coach.
Yeah, let's go. I'm ready. Ready to get
Wonder
out
how
of
that
town. Get out of
opens.
town and get on the.
Doesn't it feel like that's how that should open?
Yeah.
I guess.
Let me see. Is it?
Got a little
Right,
trunk
unlock it
thing.
again.
Another reason to get rid of the car. We're gonna have to cut the straps. I don't know why it worked for you and not me. I was pushing. You could feel it pushing like 10 times. Oh, there's a little stuff to fall out of there.
I'll just wad these up.
Okay. And I'll pull. Yep, sounds good.
Lost the keys.
2 seconds, I lost the keys.
Yep. Okay, here's where we spent the night last night. That's Callie, that's Pearl, and that's June. Can you guys say hi?
Good morning.
Say hi, girls. Rawr. They're not really mooring people, they're just kind of grouchy. We're gonna get back on the road.
All right, we're back on the road again today. And what are you going to get today, Lincoln?
My new old diesel pusher. Pretty excited about it.
Yeah, this thing is really cool. He sent me the information on where he found it. It's right here, and it's a pretty neat unit. So he's been looking for one of these for a little while, and when Lincoln gets his mind stuck on something,
It's over.
he can't help himself.
Sorry, Valerie.
He can't help himself. So, as a matter of fact, even this car right here is a funny story. So, what happened was, my wife Tracy and I went on vacation back to my hometown in Michigan last October, and we flew into Detroit Metro Airport, and we had rented a mid-size car, and we got there and they're like, I'll be darned, we don't have a mid-size car for you, so we're gonna have to give you a full-size car for the price of a mid-size. So they let me pick out, and I was looking around, and one of these Ford Expedition EcoBoost vehicles was available, a brand new one. So we got Portland traffic here.
So
This is good. This is going to be absolutely awesome. And so I chose the Ford Expedition EcoBoost, and it was a brand new car, and I started driving that thing, and I drove it for a week, and I was so impressed with that thing, the amount of torque that it had. It's got a 10-speed transmission behind it, and I just started thinking, man, I really would like to have one of these. So when I got home, I asked Lincoln, how much do you know about the EcoBoost? And he said, I know quite a bit. I've had one. And I told him what I rented, and he said, man, I had one of those, and Valerie loved it, his wife, and he said, I loved it, and he said, that's one of the cars that I should have never gotten rid of. About 4 days later, I showed up in the shop, and the other two guys were already working and everything, and after I realized Lincoln wasn't around anywhere, I was like, where's Lincoln? And they said, oh man, he's gonna be gone all day. He went all the way over to Montana somewhere to buy a car. I was like, oh, what's he buying? And they said, I think it's an Expedition. And I just started laughing. I planted the seed, and it only took 4 days to grow. He has a problem.
It's like back in the beanstalk. You plant the seed, it's a beanstalk.
That's right. So
this traffic's sweet.
This traffic is
I love it.
sweet.
I just live for this.
Yeah, I wish
So
I could
nice.
live down here. because, well, Lincoln and I live in a place where we live in one of the bigger counties in Idaho, and there's not even one traffic light in our whole county.
there is more cars on this highway right now than there is in the whole friggin' state of Idaho.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, seriously. And people drive like, at least they turn their turn signal on, I suppose. But people drive like animals because you kind of have to, you know?
Exactly. And it's really not fun being in this and like dragging a trailer.
No.
Because it never fails. You merge onto, you're going by your directions and you merge onto a road, and you have to get off on the very next exit, which is on the other side of the road, and you got to cross 4 lanes of traffic with the trailer on in about a quarter of a mile, and you don't make it.
Yep.
And just about look at all that.
I know, man. Like,
this
how are
is-
we ever going to leave here?
Welcome to Portland. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and stop videoing right now, and I'll start videoing in about an hour when we're up where those cars are up there.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's terrible. You're facing it wrong.
Yeah, look at... thanks. Look at that. There's broken windows in the Tesla dealership. Imagine
those are all
that.
new windows.
Those are all new windows in this end of it. Yeah,
That's such crap.
yeah. There's a ladder there where they're still working on the windows. That's,
Yep. You're really hurting Elon there, people.
yeah, that's really
You're
good.
doing so good.
Gee, I wonder if we're in Oregon.
Yeah, go to prison for what? You said
40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and mess
firebomb.
with a Tesla dealership. You get to go to prison for 40 years. Ask Pam Bondi.
Yikes.
I'm not.
Oh, here's our kind of place right here, buddy.
Yeah, it is. That place
Yeah.
looks nice.
A toy store.
Clearance sale.
Clearance sale. Oh, don't tell Lincoln.
$21 off.
It's
per
a good
bike.
thing he's already buying something today, or we'd be in trouble.
Yeah, we got an empty trailer and a pocket full of cash.
We're in trouble.
We are screwed. I could buy one dirt bike or the diesel pusher.
That's yeah, exactly.
Yeah. How many? So since the last startup of the video, there, I think we've made it. I'd say like 8 miles.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we're cooking right along here,
Right.
folks.
Right.
Yeah. Really, really looking forward to getting outside the Portland
We're
area
almost
and
there.
back on the highway. Yeah, we're
almost to 5.
almost to 5, and
We're
that's
like 3 miles from 2.1 miles from 5. It looks like.
all right. We'll keep you posted. Yeah.
It's yours, actually.
Yeah.
That's RVing right there.
That's RVing right there.
I know, yesterday was Pink Floyd. Oh my god, look at that overhead.
Whoa, that thing's close. This is what you call a mobile home.
A real one. There's another one. Here's the other half.
Yeah.
Around that thing and sketched out.
Moving down the road pretty good.
They're ripping. They're going like 65 or 70. And we're going the speed limit. I mean, and
Yeah, allegedly.
Oregon. Look at that little crawler.
Yeah, that thing's cool.
Dozer. Little baby dozer.
Yeah, we need one of those.
Right.
We should, we should probably have one of those.
I think we should. It's like Steve's little dozer, that little 2-cylinder.
Oh, I love that thing.
That Detroit little
Yeah.
2-stroke diesel. It's so
So
cool.
cool.
It sounds so weird.
It does.
not-
That thing's fun to drive too. Remember you let me run that thing in the rock pit?
Yep.
That thing's cool.
You just wait
It's
until
got
you
so
see
much
how
cool
much
stuff.
he's done since you've been there last.
Oh yeah, I gotta check that out. You were telling me about that. You like put a pod in and like moved all that.
So much dirt.
I need to get some gravel from it. I got
Yeah.
projects to do.
We're getting the rock crusher on here. So.
Yeah, let's help him get that done so we can get some gravel.
Like, so he said all the rock you'd ever want. Over and help.
All right, so obviously the landscape is changing, and this looks more like north. We're still in Southern Oregon. We're still, what are we about?
Grants Pass.
Yeah, Grants Pass area, but you know, this is basically the Sierra Nevada and basically what all of Northern California looks like if you've never seen it. So it's kind of cool how you make a trip like this and then one day all the topography changes completely from all farmland up there in eastern Washington down to where we are in southern Oregon now. And so this is all part of the Sierra Nevada foothills right here.
Still snow up there.
Yeah, there's
Look
you
at
can
that
see
clear
snow
cut.
up on the peaks.
Lots of clear cuts.
Let's see, one of the peaks that we're going to come up on here as we get closer to our destination is going to be Mount McLaughlin, and it's a cinder cone. It looks kind of like a little Mount Shasta because it's a standalone all by itself, right out in the middle of nowhere with a real pointy top on it. And it's a pretty,
It's a volcano.
it's a volcano, and it's a pretty popular mountain for like climbers of this area and everything. And I know a lot of people that have been up on top of Mount McLaughlin. And I'm not one of them. I
We're
don't
gonna go up
climb.
there
I don't
today.
climb mountains just because they're there. If there's fish up there and a stream I can fish, I will climb it.
Right.
But I'm not climbing it just for the purposes of climbing it.
Maybe we should find a stream.
We should find a stream.
River. It's got a
Beautiful.
little time kill.
Yeah, we're getting close to our destination, and the people we're supposed to meet up with are going to be a little behind our schedule. So
They work for a living.
yeah, they have to work. Those poor suckers. This is about as much work as we're going to do
Today.
today. We work a lot.
All the time.
I just don't work for a living anymore.
No, now you're kind of living to work.
Yep. Exactly. Now I'm learning new things now in life. It's time to move on to bigger, better things.
Some steep country.
Yeah. We've been over the Umpqua River, which I have fished.
There's our creek.
We're actually south now of Roseburg. We're southwest of Roseburg.
It's your old stomping grounds. We're getting
Yeah, this is
closer.
kind of my old stomping grounds right here. This, for sure. I lived in Northern California from 1992 until 2012.
And when I lived in Central California from 1987 until 2020. Then it was time to leave.
It was time to leave for sure.
I would have left sooner if I could have. But
Yep. It's pretty impressive that you were able to do what you did at the time you did.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
Yeah.
57.
It was meant to be.
Absolutely. 57 miles to Medford.
27 miles to Memphis.
57.
57.
Yeah.
All right, we have come through Grants Pass, and now that's Mount McLaughlin that we were talking about.
9,495 feet.
At Mount McLaughlin?
That's what I just said at that
Is that right?
Yeah, almost
What was it?
9,495 feet.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. So that's McLaughlin that we were talking about earlier, and we're coming up into the Rogue Valley is what this area is known as, and
Some
the
cool
Rogue River
tabletops.
runs right through here. There's some nice bluffs up
Tabletops.
there.
Yeah.
And so this is the very southern part of Oregon here. We're not very far from the California border now.
Maybe what, 25?
Yeah,
30
probably
miles.
25 miles. We got to go through Medford first.
That
All
is
right, there's a better
massive.
view of Mount Shasta as we're approaching. We're still miles away from it.
We got to be 40 miles from that still,
Yeah.
30 at least. Is Wairika like right at the base of that? Or
Wairika's north of it still.
north of it? Okay.
Yeah.
What's at the base of it?
Mount Shasta, the town of Mount Shasta.
Mount Shasta.
Yeah, Mount Shasta is on the west side of the base of the mountain, and then the town where I live, Dunsmuir, is just south. It's 5 miles south of the town of Mount Shasta. So we lived just
Hoy
a
boys.
few miles from the south base of Mount Shasta.
It's pretty weird when people graffiti.
Yeah.
That said Hoy boys. Hoy boys.
Boy, boys.
Like what does that even mean?
I have no idea.
I don't think they do either. It's almost 80 degrees outside now. We're gonna be boiling out there. We be boiling.
So we're actually in the Wairika area right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at
Yeah, we're still a good probably 30 miles north of that.
Yeah. It's just massive.